Cincinnati Bob Huggins took the team to the Final Four against the Athletes in Action and Nick Van Exel. 3 of his 24 points, and senior forward Eric Martin will also hit a J. Cincinnati wins 98-85. Regular.
And finally, Cincinnati's Nick Van Exel put on a 3-point shooting clinic against Temple. He had 6 threes in the first half, 8 overall, and finished with 26 points as the Bearcats topped the Owls 68-45.
Early golden strip by Nick Van Exel. Alan Jackson has it, feeds it back to Van Exel in the corner. From 3, hits it. Cincy up 7-0 early. Van Exel with 19. Still in the first, one of the few highlights you'll see from this guy, Allen Houston. He did cut Tennessee's lead. Tennessee was within 2, but Cincy goes crazy. That's the guy responsible, Curtis Bostic. Then more of Bostic inside, just taking advantage of the Vols inside. Cincy up by 19 at the half. This guy Bostic had back surgery last year. Could be comeback player of the year. He had 20 on the game. Van Exel just kept on doing his thing. Bearcats, this one was easy. They win by 21. Allen Houston just loves going up against the Bearcats. A year ago, he scored just 9 points. This time, a season low, 16. Arkansas back to play. They are a special breed. Bearcats would spoil this party. Boston native Curtis Bostic doing the job before his family and friends. He had 10 points. Then Bobby Huggins urging on Terrence Gibson to get them going. Gibson listening, creating the steal, goes all the way for the bucket. That's Nick Van Exel with the 3-point signal. There's a reason for that, because there goes Van Exel from 3-point range. Then he says, hey, I could do that from NBA range too. Then Van Exel, the show continues off the screen, hitting the 3 at 27.9 for Van Exel. That's a career high. The Bearcats have now won 8 of their first 9 games. Chris?
Would it end on Saturday? Second half of the game in the horizon. Nick Van Exel drives the lane, makes the hoop. Nick Van Exel, the 3-pointer, good. Same sequence. Van Exel helps make the steal. He'll pull up for another 3. Nick Van Exel, 25 points, 9 points in under 1 minute in this game. Bearcats had a 24-point lead at one point, had to hang on, even though Eric Martin jams it home here. Bob Huggins said after the game his team really is going to have to practice hard because they almost blew a 24-point lead. They stole an inbounds pass, helped them down the stretch, but DePaul had a nice run at the end of the game. Cincinnati hung on to win it 70-64. In the
Just say this was a rout. Eric Martin with 2, Bearcats by 28 at the half, and Nelson going inside for Corey Blount. Blount had 20 in his first home game of the year. Martin on the steal up to Durden, who finds Terrence Gibson. This one was pretty easy. Gibson had 15, and then it's Durden with 3 of his game-high 16. And someone should tell Bob Huggins he won by 60. Yes, 60, but you know what? It wasn't Cincy's biggest win ever. That happened in '76 when they took Wright State by 68, and here are the rest of your wins.
Low-scoring first half, you bet it. Alan Jackson steals the pass, cruises for the slam. For Cincinnati, one of the Bearcats' few bright spots of the first half because UAB, after steal, Frank Haywood cruises in for the layup. Bob Huggins' team down 15-11 at half. That's right, 15-11. What? Blazers surge to start the second session. Shannon makes the steal and the slam. UAB by 10. But Cincy comes back. Bearcat trap forces a turnover. Alan Jackson with a big jam. Cincy closes the gap. Gene Bartow sweating it out. His team leading by 1. Can they hang on?
Van Exel in the corner is going to have to throw it out. Steal by Haywood. Van Exel. He got it! He got it! Cincinnati! And a last-second shot beats UAB. Nick Van Exel, number 40.
Call him Nick Van Exel with that shot. Cincinnati's only lead of the game when it counted. At the end, Cincinnati with its 10th win in a row, despite an 11-point first half. In the SEC, Auburn.
Miami of Ohio with a 1-point halftime lead. Matt Kramer had 21 in the game, including that 3. But Lizelle Durden rallies the Bearcats, scored all 15 of their points in an 8-minute span. Cincinnati had to battle back and get into overtime for Bob Huggins. In the OT, Nick Van Exel, who did not have a field goal made in the first half, had 9 points in the overtime, and Van Exel leads 4th-ranked Cincinnati to the victory.
Mike Lee at the game. I'm sure he was there to watch Nick Van Exel do some spectacular things like this shot. Van Exel with 20 points on the day, but Larry Finch's Tigers were up by 12 at the half. More Memphis State. Anthony Douglas, the baseball pass to Anthony Hardaway to Billy Smith for the jam. Smith with 27. More Hardaway. Look at this, the great steal. And then check out the no-look behind the back pass to Leon Mitchell for the easy bucket. Hardaway, believe it or not, had the flu. It didn't matter. The Tigers end up winning this one by 2. Cincy's rally came up short, and their winning streak ends at 14. Besides the big night for Billy Smith, Anthony Douglas had
Bob Huggins on the left, Kevin O'Neill on the right of Marquette, having a laugh before the game. Bearcats known for their hustling defense. Corey Blunt denies Tony Miller. Second half, Terrence Gibson swats Miller. O'Neill's Warriors hung in there at Cincy. 32 seconds to go. Cincy by 2. Jim McElvain kicks it out to Ronnie Eford. Good. We're tied at 53. Time winding down. The coaches plot the strategy. Huggins turns to Nick Van Exel. I said Nick Van Exel. He picks the dribble up. Gets all alone to Eric Martin. Game over. Cincinnati wins. Get out of the gym before they change their mind. 55 to 53. The Bearcats now 18-2. Marquette 17-3. They're both.
Hoot Olson says, lift up your estimation of our conference. We won 17 in a row, and we've jumped off to a 24-9 lead over the Bearcats. Damon Stoudemire to Rayos. Huggins rallies back at Nick Van Exel. Oops to Curtis Bostic. Wildcats 34-28 at the half. In the second half, Van Exel continues to excel, defying space and time. Cincinnati defying, winning 52-47. Then Arizona up by 3, but here's Van Exel from way downtown. Bang! We're tied, but 58 all is Cincinnati's last gasp. 14th year senior Chris Mills takes it, puts it back, draws the foul, 63-60. Wildcats, and they start a 10-zip run, but you're icing on the bunt. Stoudemire with the wraparound to Khalid Reeves. Arizona 70, Cincinnati 60. Mills scores 23 to finally bury the stubborn Bearcats. Van Exel ends with a career-high 31.
Teams Cincinnati and Marquette. You see the defensive numbers in the nation. That's how good they are. And the defense is frustrating both offenses. Alan Jackson the miss. Nick Van Exel was 1 of 10 in the first half. Bob Huggins' team down 5 at the break. Not much better for Marquette. William Gates blows the layup. Freshman Ronnie Eford clangs a 3, and Damon Key can't tip it home. Kevin O'Neill's team shot just 37%. But Eford did get hot. The freshman hits a 3, a career-high 21. But then the clamping defense of Cincinnati turns it up. Terrence Gibson the steal to Nick Van Exel. The Bearcats cut the lead to 1. This game was tied with 5 minutes left, and the veteran Cincinnati team does the job. Gibson with a 3. The Bearcats pull away late to win 66-57. Van Exel finishes with 20-17 in the second half in front of the largest crowd in Marquette.
At the Pyramid, Memphis State's home. Cincinnati coach Bob Huggins getting a technical. The Bearcats are up 9 at the time, but that leads Memphis State on a 7-0 run. Anthony Hardaway fights away, and the Tigers cut the lead to 2. 17 seconds left. Keith Greger at the line. Clang. And the ball comes to Anthony Hardaway with a chance to put the Tigers ahead. He sees the opening, but it quickly closes. It's an offensive foul against Hardaway. That's number 5 for him. He's gone. Tigers still get another chance with less than 8 seconds to go. Leon Mitchell throws it away, though, Cincy wins 77-72. So you can make it 6 out of 7 for Cincy against Memphis State, including 2 great Midwest Conference championship games.
To use their muscle right away. Just ask Anthony Hardaway getting knocked down by Alan Jackson. Hardaway with just 2 shots in the first half. Bearcats got a lot of easy hoops like that one from Eric Martin. Then on the break, Nick Van Exel finding Martin for another easy one. 21 for Martin in this game. Larry Finch wondering when his Tigers will play in a big game and win one. Second half, more Bearcats to Martin. Then it's Nick doing his turn, 21 for Van Exel. Bearcats take an easy one, 78-55. Van Exel outshining Hardaway. The man they call Penny scored just 9 points. He turned it over 7 times. So Cincy wins the regular season Great Midwest title.
Cincinnati, too much. Terrence Gibson, the alley-oop to Eric Martin. Bearcats by 11. But Ron Mitchell's Eagles would get on a 16-2 run and keep it close. Steven Stewart to Tariq Saunders. No relation. Coppin State led by 3. After that, all Bearcats. Nick Van Exel, Corey Blunt, the breakaway dunk. Bearcats by 12. And then Van Exel, the lob pass to Lennox Brown, who goes up, throws it down. And on the long outlet from Martin, Keith Greger takes it in. And that's what the second half looked like for Cincinnati. Bob Huggins, Bearcats roll 93-66. Gibson had 14. Martin, 18 points and 10 rebounds. Cincinnati
2 seed. Cincinnati against the 7 seed New Mexico State. Oh, my defense. Terrence Gibson steps in the steal and the layup. He had a career game for Bob Huggins. You want more defense? He got it. And also some half-court offense. And what a pass to Eric Martin for the jam. How did Corey Blunt make this pass? Second look, you still don't know. It was 27-4. 27-4 with 11 and a half left. And even when New Mexico State scored like Sam Crawford does there, they pay on the other end. The ball never touched the floor. Terrence Gibson, career high 25. And the Bearcats roll on, leading 50-18 at the half, and They close it out 92-55. Two concerns for Cincy. Nick Van Exel, coming off 7 points in round one, had just 3 on Sunday. And the Bearcats' other starting guard, Alan Jackson, didn't play because of it.
Come to an end on this one in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Ted Jeffries and Eric Martin face. And then Van Exel the save to Corey Blunt for the short jumper. Bearcats scored the first 7 points of the game. Eric Martin then.
Well, we're going to watch Eric Martin on a defensive end. There's the steal, and up he goes to quick Nick. And goes Nick to the goal, baby. Count it for little Van Exel.
Corey Blunt then again on the defense with the block here. Van Exel on the other end with the miss. And Blunt, you want to talk about running the floor? There he is on the other end to jam this one down. But Virginia started to move the ball very well. Ted Jeffries to Jason Williford. Round the horn to Corey Alexander, who did not have a great game, knocking down 3 of his 11. Blunt with the steal ahead to Van Exel. Misses the wide open layup here, and Bob Huggins says you're going to the bench for a little while anyway. Virginia clawing back. Jason Williford grabs the board, follows, lays it in. Williford with 12 points. And Van Exel got the touch from NBA range, knocking this one down. 6 for 21, but Nick Van Exel did hit a couple of key three-pointers in the game to help Cincinnati's cause. 71-54 is the final, ending Virginia's 7-game postseason win streak.
Three-pointer, good. 21 in the first half alone. Bearcats up by 15. Second half, Van Exel, Eric Martin. Tar Heels match that. Derek Phelps, the alley-oop. Lynch ties it at 57. Tar Heels up 2. 45 seconds to play. Cincinnati, good defense. Phelps, the bad shot. Eric Montross, stripped. And Terrence Gibson, the other end, will tie this one at 66. 7 seconds to go. And Dean Smith looking to Brian Reese. Drives, dishes, Lynch for the win. And it won't go. The Tar Heels get the ball back as Dean says timeout. 0.8 seconds to go. Phelps looking for Reese. If he puts it up right there or right there, instead he waits till there, and we go into overtime. In overtime, Donald Williams, the pull-up jumper, nothing but the bottom of the net. Carolina up by 6. Van Exel trying to answer at the other end. 1 of 10 in the second half. Only 2 points. Carolina picks up the victory as Nick's father looks on. And Nick, Dean, is going to the Final Four. 75-68 in overtime. Lynch, big numbers. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 6 steals. Van Exel, 21 of his 23 points in the first half. Cincinnati could have used guard Alan Jackson, who missed the last 3 games due to a sprained left knee.